Alright, fresh new week, first day of the year too, so convenient that it lines up that way this year. I guess I should say Happy New Year. So chest, delts and calves today, as usual, on a Monday, for me at least, and I feel absolutely fucked. I feel really tired today. But that's my own doing, it's my own fault. I didn't get to sleep till 3 a.m, so doing that, waking up somewhat early and having a normal work day on a Monday, even though it's New Year's Day, is a bit of I suppose, a bit of a shitty scenario. But like I said, self-inflicted, so I'm not complaining, just merely telling you how it is. And body is feeling pretty good. Even though I feel tired, the body is feeling good, which is a positive. So, all in all, things could be a lot worse. Should be a good year though. Should be a good year. Got the, what is it, strawberry margarita flavour, Rule 1 EAAs. So even though it's similar in terms of like the actual flavour profile to the Optimum Nutrition Amino Energy strawberry lime, this one actually tastes good. The strawberry lime from Optimum Nutrition tastes terrible, so don't buy that. But if you want a decent essential amino acid flavour from Rule 1, you can't really go wrong with this. Like, strawberry margarita is pretty good. If I had a personal preference though, Concord Grape by Optimum Nutrition is pretty damn hard to beat. But you can't get past a good flavoured grape EAA product. Grape, watermelon, green apple, they're the three best flavours you'll ever come across in my opinion. So, in terms of what's on the menu today for the session, obviously the donkey calf, seated calf raise superset that I start the session off with normally. Pec deck fly after that, incline Smith press, converging chest press, and then some machine laterals to finish off, just for a bit of light delt work. But the volume has obviously gone up this week because it's the second week of this training block, or technically the third week. It's the third week of this training block. So the volume has gone up. Instead of 3 sets of each of the calf exercises, there are 4. So it's a total of 8 sets of calves. Pec deck fly, I've got 4 sets. Incline Smith press is still 3. Converging chest press is still 3. But the machine lateral is 4 sets. So in total, an escalation of 3 sets from last week's session for this. So nothing crazy, but still, every little bit counts. Every little bit makes a difference. And it's the cumulative effect over time. Like, it might only sound like a little bump up in volume, because it is. 3 extra working sets for the entire session is going to add, like 2 to 3 minutes tops to the duration of it. But if that's repeated over time, over the course of this training block, say every week or every other week, 5-6 weeks time, that's a pretty significant increase in volume. We're looking at almost like a 20% increase in volume across the course of the whole week. So, like I said, it adds up. And that's the thing with like anything, any kind of progression in training, or even in your body composition. Like, if you're in a fat loss phase, like, yeah, sure, you might have only lost, say, 0.5% body weight on average this week, but you add that up over the course of like 8 to 12 weeks, that's a pretty significant amount of progress. So yeah, looking at it on the micro scale, it doesn't seem like much, but when you, I suppose, take a step back, have the foresight to look at it from the macro scale, it's pretty cool. So yeah, body weight is still kind of maintaining at the moment. Obviously I had that initial increase in calories after I wrapped up the mini cut, so it went from 4,000 calories back to 5,000, which is about maintenance for me. Body weight's been kind of hovering around that like 114 kilo mark, or yes, what's that, 258 pound, 259 pound. So pretty happy, comfortably just maintaining this weight, to be completely fair. In all honesty, I don't really mind not eating more food. Appetite's not really that prevalent, like I'm not really noticing an appetite whatsoever. So I mean, if I can just sit around here and I suppose recomp as the training and the drugs ramp up, then I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, 4:30 in the afternoon, so it's definitely getting on with the day. Even though I woke up somewhat early today, it's still, I suppose, late to some people and late to what I was used to. Like back in Australia, I'd wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I get up here at probably like 9 in the morning usually, so it's a bit of a later start, but I also finish later. And I've kind of deliberately adjusted my schedule to, I suppose, fall in this kind of a schedule, because when you're an online coach and you have clients and athletes in multiple countries around the world, you don't want to just be, I suppose, waking up and being able to attend to clients in one specific country. Like if I set up my day like this, given the fact that I'm running on the Indochina time, and if I'm waking up at 9 a.m. Indochina time and kind of like starting work and then finishing work a little bit later in the evening here, that allows me to cover a broader range of hours that are, I suppose, more convenient for clients in all parts of the world. Whereas if I stick to my usual Australian schedule, like there's a lot of people that will be waiting, say, much longer for a response for me or a response from me, so the response time will be a little bit more laggy. So even though this might not be ideal in, I suppose, my preferred schedule, I'd rather wake up early and go to bed earlier. This just works better when I'm obviously coaching people around the world. So yeah, woke up at about 9 today, did my fasted cardio, had a few consults, had a couple of onboarding calls too, and so got through all of that, did a little bit of content creation. By content creation, I mean I wrote an Instagram post and I posted it, and I worked a little bit on a couple of reels that I've been editing slowly. But reels and short form content are not my forte. As you can tell, I don't really even edit my long form content. I just throw it all in a video file or in a project file on iMovie and export it and just upload it as is. So yeah, doing all that nitty gritty editing, it's interesting, it's fun, but it's also frustrating at the same time. So I'm just slowly chipping away at it, and I'll get quicker, more efficient at it the more I do it over time. I've just got to accept that you've got to embrace the suck whenever you start something new in life, whether it be learning how to edit, learning a new language. You're going to suck at the beginning. Same thing with weight training. I sucked at the beginning. It's just a natural part of the process. You've got to be willing to be the amateur in order to get to a point where you're actually quite good at what you do and excelling to some degree or some level. So yeah, EAAs are all mixed up, and thank God the water is cold today. Sometimes the water bottles are recently restocked in the fridge at the front counter, and so it's not really cold yet, and I fucking hate lukewarm water. Even though the body does technically absorb the water better when it's lukewarm, closer to like your core body temperature, that is, I prefer drinking cold water, and I think I speak for many people when I say that. But yeah, the reason obviously why lukewarm water is better is because the body has to actually bring the contents of the stomach to the same temperature as the core body, essentially, before it can fully absorb and utilize the nutrients, the food and the water in the stomach. So drinking cold water, you're kind of just retarding that process or slowing it down. Still obviously happens in the end, but it just takes longer. So got my cold EAOs in hand, and I better get started and do this session, because if I don't, I'll be here forever. Okay, first of the supersets. So it might be a little bit more weight. There was a 45 on top last week. Oh. Full stack, chain, and a 45. It looks heavy, but it's light as fuck. So don't think I'm just super strong on this. This machine's just very poorly built, to the point to which I reckon a 130 pound female could do the full stack. Time for the cross-country trip over to the fucking city cock race. Alright. Insert some magical editing to make it look like the camera was flying through space. Not really. I'm not going to edit anything. There we go. Now with calves, I don't really rest much. I don't think they really deserve rest, to be honest. They just recover too quick. So I usually, like, at the absolute most, will rest probably 60 to 90 seconds between sets. Shit. Oh, hard. Bit of a sip of the EAAs. It's a little bit hotter today than it's been the last few days, so it's feeling a little bit more intense. And I've also got a hat on now too when I train, which actually smells like piss. I need to wash it tonight. So I've worn it the last few sessions, and obviously the sweat, when it dries, it doesn't smell too good. So I'll have to remember to wash it tonight, so it's nice and clean for tomorrow. Yeah, because of the hat obviously, and the fact that most of your heat escapes from your feet and your head, I'm kind of placing a lid on my body's heat dumping, so to speak. So I'm just kind of like trapping that body temperature inside me a little bit more, which isn't too pleasant in hot weather when you're training, especially. At least it's not too humid today. I say that now, and it'll probably rain now as a result, and be humid as fuck tomorrow. That's what I was trying to say. 2 more supersets to go, and then into the chest work of the session. Actually, put that back pad up one. It's a little bit too low for me. I'm pretty tall. I had to cut that set a rep short. Feet were slipping way too much. They were going to slide right off then. That would not be very safe of me. So I'm going to quickly log those sets so I don't forget what I did. Okay, one more set to go. Already hit a little bit of a PB, I think. Did I? Yes. At least on the donkey calf raise, I hit a PB. Seated I didn't, but that's alright. Final set. In terms of like how high the volume of these will get toward the end of the training block, I reckon probably like at least 5 to 6 supersets by the end of the training block. So the volume will still get up there, like a little bit more. Okay. Foot wasn't slipping on that set, but my ankle was hurting. Not in like a good way either. It's kind of like a sharp burning feeling. So thought I better end the set there. Try not be a hero. So it's recorded that. It's 15 on the donkey. And $11 on the seated. Time for pec deck fly. Okay. So did a warm-up set, about 110 pound. You're gonna do 130 for the working sets. Last week I got 15, 13, 12 or 12, 11, something like that. So I aim to get at least one more rep this week in total with the same load. I'll be happy with that. Because I've got 4 sets of this, not 3 this week. So even if I match last week's performance, having the additional 4th set is going to be progression from last week, or I suppose a form of overload. Okay. Had a little bit too long to rest after that first set, so I better get into it. Otherwise this training session is going to drag out much longer than I hoped it would. Or much longer than I would like it to, I should say. Jeez. Yeah. Already I've hit a PB on what I did last week, and I'm only 2 sets in, so anything from this point on is pretty irrelevant. As long as I match what I did last week, I'm happy. A little bit of an angle change. Why not? Final set. Might as well. Thought about controlling the negative on that, but it's the first chest exercise. I don't want to completely gas myself. Otherwise that'll just ruin the Smith press, the converging press, and then the shoulder work after, so I'll just leave it there. But 3 sets of Smith incline press now. Don't know. If I recall correctly, I did do these last week with music to kind of assist me, like amp me up a little bit. And I'm somebody that gets quite a bit out of music, so I'm doing it without music this week. I'll be happy to just hit what I hit last week. I don't want to aim for a PB because I want to take the progression on this movement very carefully, very, very patiently. So just wigging me out because the machine, or the Smith machine, Smith machine, isn't in alignment with the flooring. I keep getting wigged out whether or not the bench is in alignment with the Smith machine, or if the bench is out of alignment. It's a head fuck, I tell you. That first set felt a little bit off, so I'm even more suspicious of it. I just have to play this set very carefully. 8 reps, no more, regardless how I feel. Final set. God, I keep looking at this and it feels like it's off center. This is really messing with my head. I know I already said that, but I feel like I need to say it again because it's that much of a bother. Definitely had more in the tank, but like I said, I'm going to play the progression on this movement very carefully because I've already torn my pec 3 times. Not all on this exercise, but once on this exercise. So I'm a little bit more mindful of my rate of progression on movements I've injured myself on in the past. I think you should too. Alright. Converging chest press then on the delts. Okay. Last week I did this weight, but I got like 3 sets of 11 to 12 reps, and the rep range is technically meant to be 10, up to 10 reps. So if I get one set of 12 quite comfortably on this first set, I'll bump it up to say 2.5 plates a side, so an extra 25 pound or so on each side, and then just punch out the last couple sets at that with like a lower rep target with like the minimum reps for the rep range, and just progressively build and work my way up with that new load over the coming weeks until I hit 3 sets of 12. It did feel easy, but chest feels a little bit funny. So instead of being risky, I'm going to play it safe. I'll just stick to this weight for the next 2 sets. Just aim for maybe a rep PB. 3 sets of 12, for example. Third and final set of these, and I reckon I'll get 12, but we'll see. Feeling optimistic for once is a rarity for me. I'm usually a glass is half empty by default kind of person. Alrighty, 130 pound again, same as last week, but the only difference is I've got an additional set, so instead of 3 I've got 4 working sets. Rep match sets, so I got 18 last week, so I need to try and aim for 4 sets of 18 this week instead of 3. Yeah. I don't know if that seat is right, it feels a little bit too low. Yeah, that's better. Camera is currently overheating, so the set I'm recording now might cut out. If it does, I apologise. yeah, last set. Had a little bit of a longer rest then. Because after that last set I was pretty screwed. Pretty shattered and fatigued. Oh.